I commend all of you who attended the special sitting on Thursday when there was a presidential address to the House on matters of national importance, and that was pursuant to Article 1012 of the Constitution of Uganda. The presidential address raised a number of issues that is in regard to parish development model, and as we agreed, we will be debating the parish development model.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. On your communication, the address by the President, our rules, Madam Speaker, provide that the President, when coming to Parliament, can be accompanied by an ADC. The rules don't provide that he can be accompanied by his wife. And that is Rule 10, if the members have their rules. So the point I wanted to raise, Madam Speaker, around 2000, Madam Speaker, this Parliament approved money to buy and furnish an office for the office of the First Lady on Malcolm X in Kololo. The Honorable Maria Karolo, a former MP here, told us, the country, and I was still in the media, that the office of the First Lady is a former office. That's why public money was used to buy that office, an office. Today, the First Lady is also the Minister for Education, against Public Service Standing Order. Can government tell us whether she abandoned the role of the First Lady and became the Minister for Education, or vice versa? Because in public, she came as ADC. Because under Public Service Order, you cannot occupy two offices. The office of the First Lady having an office on Malcolm X in Kololo is a former office. And then there is one of education. So can government tell us whether the First Lady now abandoned the role of the First Lady to occupy this office, or she's occupying both?
Honorable Member, to the best of my knowledge, I saw the President accompanied by the ADC, and I also saw the Minister of Education and Sports, who is also a First Lady. But that is not something very important for today. What is important for today, let's discuss this bill. I don't want you to divert me. No, I have got the point, but the President was escorted by ADC, and the First Lady attended as a Minister of Education. Yes.
Bill's second reading, the Anti Homosexuality Bill 2023.
Yes, procedure matter.
Madam Speaker, when this bill came for the first reading, I did ask through you for the government's commitment. And Madam Speaker, you said that they all support. The Prime Minister with the 3 deputies, the Vice President who is a member of this Parliament, and many other ministers are taking cover. They are hiding. They have volunteered the government whip So the procedure issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, is whether we should not listen from the person who is assigned by the Administration of Parliament Act and our rules to make sure that the government side attends Parliament, to tell us why is the Prime Minister, the 3 deputies, and Vice President are hiding.
Honorable Government Chief Whip, but you know what I said the other time? That we shall know them by their deeds. The Government Chief Whip.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, from my own sense of judgment in compliance with the rules of procedure of Parliament, we have more than enough quorum. The offices mentioned and the officers mentioned notwithstanding, government is fully represented in this House. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe just to assure the House that government is in support of this bill, government gave us a certificate of financial implication. That is most important. The rest is left to us. Honorable members, in the VIP gallery this afternoon, we have the Right Reverend Hannington Mutebi, Assistant Bishop of Kampala Diocese. Reverend, you're most welcome. And we have the Reverend Canon Dr. Rebecca Nyegi, the Provost, I didn't want to mention the name, of All Saints Cathedral. You're most welcome. They've come to observe their flock when they are debating. And I want you to watch very, very well. These are your people. I also want constituencies, all the constituencies must see their members of parliament, who is for, who is against. Honorable members, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students from Mbalala Secondary School, Mukono District, represented by Honorable Kiwanuka. Honorable Kiwanuka, stand up and the kids see you. And Honorable Nabukera.
The penalty provided on 7, Madam Chair, is not fair, because this is the only way.
What penalty do you recommend?
Madam Chair, they propose 10 years only. In clause 7, they are proposing only 10 years for somebody who recruits our children into homosexuality. So let it be life imprisonment for whoever recruits our children, for whoever gets involved in making sure that our children are involved into this.
Now, that Chair, I think for information purposes, that's not what clause 7 is saying.
Honorable Patrick, clause 7 is on confidentiality, and aiding and abetting is on clause 8. So you're legislating ahead. Honorable members, I put a question that clause 7 be amended. As amended, stands part of the bill. Those in favor say, on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
New clause.
New clause. Sarah, sit. You sit.
Insertion of new clauses immediately before clause 8. The bill is amended by inserting before clause 8 the following. Child grooming. A person who A. recruits, transports, transfers, harbors, or receives a child for the purpose of engaging the child in homosexuality or any other conduct prohibited under this act. B. displays, distributes, or supplies to a child any material demonstrating, depicting, or illustrating a sexual act between persons of the same gender or any other conduct that is prohibited under this act. C. shows or avails a child in a picture, video or film showing, depicting or illustrating a sexual act between persons of the same gender or any other conduct that is prohibited under this act, or D, in the presence of a child, performs a sexual act with a person of the same gender or causes another person to engage in a sexual act with a person of the same gender, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 10 years. 2, the consent of a child of that child's parent, guardian, person in authority, or any other person with parental responsibility over the child to the acts prescribed in subsection 1 shall not be a defense to a charge under this act. Justification: to prohibit acts that expose children to acts of homosexuality.
Cecilia.
Chair, I have a concern on the punishment of 10 years. We have seen some videos moving around of young children of 4 years, 3 years being inducted or forced into the act of homosexuality. Now, in that situation, Chair, a child is completely disoriented as far as sexuality is concerned. Now, how can you prescribe only 10 years? Such people really, even if we are trying to be merciful, should be life. Because your child is damaged. Your child is damaged for life, disoriented for life. These people need punishment for life. They must in prison for life. Thank you.
Chair.
Attorney General. We have an amendment from Imat Cecilia.
The proposal of the committee is 10 years. Mama Cecilia proposes life. If the argument is about the length of imprisonment, we could find a middle ground and propose 15 to 20.
Attorney General,
Yes.
Attorney General, Attorney General, imagine it is your own child. Imagine it is your own child, Attorney General.
Yes, amendment.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair. Madam Chair,
Can you look?
where somebody has got your child, imagine the child is 2 years, is 3 years. Even life imprisonment is not adequate because this person is going to go into the prisons and continue living his life, maybe even continuing with homosexuality in the prisons. These people should be castrated. Yes. The amendment I'm proposing is that the person should be castrated, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Elijah.
Yeah.
Elijah.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Elijah.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair. I want to
Give
concur.
me the ears.
Yes. I want to concur with Madam Cecilia Ogwal because the damage here caused is for life. So I think the basis we said the sentence to life imprisonment because the damage to this child is for life. So let the sentence also be for life. Thank you.
Honorable members.
The problem we are dealing with, if members can listen, you see, Madam Chair, A speaks about recruiting children, transporting them, for purposes of engaging them. In English, it means etc. Madam Chair, while B and C and D about either someone committing homosexuality in the presence of a child or distributes material. These offenses cannot attract the same sentence. Someone trafficking a child for homosexuality and someone showing a film. I therefore want to propose, Madam Speaker, that in case of A, life imprisonment, in case of B, C, and D, 20 years.
Honorable members, I put a question that the proposed new clause stands part of the bill with amendment of 20 years as proposed by Honorable SSEMUJJU and Attorney General. Those in favor say on the contrary, aye? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
Honorable members, so why are you making a noise? If you want to make an amendment, your private members, you will make an amendment. This is the first law you're making. And you can make amendment anytime you want. Let's be orderly and honorable enough.
Clause 8.
Thank you so much, Chair. Honorable SSEMUJJU's amendment had two effects, and your bundling, I don't know whether it has separated part of the clause, because
it did, as proposed by Honorable SSEMUJJU. He mentioned it.
Then,
so I am going by what he said.
Then, Chair, I prefer recommit on a part of separating it.
No, it is already separated. I took it as it was. It is separated. Clause 8.
No, Chair.
Procedure, Chair.
Procedure, Madam. Chair, I differ from...
Honorable Kabanda, it is separated. What we are going to do is on the what? When they are preparing the bill, they will correct that.
Chair, with due respect, I have understood. Honorable SSEMUJJU has moved that exhibiting
Honorable
videos...
SSEMUJJU separated the A, B, C, D.
Yes, and he has suggested two different penalties. One, 10 years, and another 20 years. Yes, that's what he moved.
No. Life.
Procedure.
Madam Chair. Honorable members, clause 8.
Procedure.
Clause 8.
Clause 8.
Right, Honorable, we've solved our children.
Aiding and abetting homosexuality. Delete clause 8. Justification. The provision is redundant since it is provided for under section 19 of the Penal Code Act, and the conduct intended to be cured can be dealt
Honorable
with
members,
under clause 14 on promotion. The provision uses words such as acts of homosexuality, which are ambiguous since they are not defined, thereby making the provision contrary to the principle of legality prescribed in Article 28(12) of the Constitution.
Nathan?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm not trying to differ too much from what the Chair is raising, but I wanted to ask a question. I don't know if Honorable Bart is around.
Honorable Bart is here.
When we passed this law in the 9th Parliament, there are colleagues of ours who went to court. They went to court. Anyway, it is Fox and Otada. And Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, having finished even the court, when we came here to pay tribute to the late Archbishop of Uganda, Ruhum, one of the seconders was a Fox, who was a you said homosexuality, homosexual.
Procedure.
Madam,
Procedure, Honorable Chair.
what's the procedure? When I'm here. So, Madam Chair, the issue I'm raising, are the ones who aid and abetting homosexuality. Now, what about those who go to court? No, we don't want to delete it. That's why I want to bring
Honorable Nathan, you're taking our time.
Madam Chair, I want us to bring those who go to court, yes.
Asuman? Asuman? Asuman?
No, Chair, I have no objection to the proposal by the committee.
Attorney General?
Just some clarification, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, because
Homosexual means a person who engages in an act of homosexuality. F, by substituting the definition of the word homosexuality, the following. Homosexuality means the performance of a sexual act by a person on another person of the same gender. G, by substituting for the definition of the phrase sexual act, the following. Sexual act means the stimulation or penetration, however slight, A, of a person's anus or mouth by a sexual organ of another person of the same gender. B, of a person's anus, sexual organ or mouth by a sex contraption by a person of the same gender. Or C, of a person's anus or sexual organ by any part of the body of a person of the same gender. H, in the definition of the term sexual organ by deleting the words or any artificial sexual contraption. I, by deleting the definition of the word touching. J, by substituting for the definition of the word victim, the following. Victim of the offense means A, a child against whom the offense of aggravated homosexuality has been committed.
Madam Chair, I have a problem with the criminalizing an entire organization. Because either one director in a broadcast house or in a print media or an editor has committed a crime. It will be a very big mistake. I want to invite this parliament to get that.
Honorable SSEMUJJU, before you go far, yes. When you look at 3, where an offense prescribed under this section is committed by a legal entity, court may hold a shareholder, a director, employee, a manager, officer, or any other principal officer. It is catered for.
My problem, right, Honorable Chair, is to begin cancellation of licenses. Because media organization employs sometimes even 1,000 people. Deal with the person who has committed the crime and not the organization.
Court has a discretion. It is...
Because otherwise we should have closed the NRM long ago. Because if you have 10 ministers who have stolen Mabati,
Madam Chair,
but you can't criminalize the whole of NRM.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. I want to go to 14.3B1. Impose a penalty not exceeding 20,000 currency points, which is equivalent to 400 million. I want to propose 50,000 currency points.
Attorney General, is that okay with you?
As Attorney General answers the two.
Let's first answer the currency.
Madam Chair, I actually wanted to move the same amendment because you see, these broadcasters, once something is set on TV, it's watched by millions of people. So the promotion is reaching out to so many people. Unless we have a deterrent proviso that curtails the activity. On the basis of that, I would go with the 40,000, the 50,000 currency points proposal.
Yes. I want to thank the Attorney General. In fact, Attorney General, I think you have made it easier because this is also promotion. And earlier on, we had passed sanctions for promotion. So when it comes to...
Of 20 years.
Of 20 years. So the time now must go with 20 years.
These are, we are talking about entities,
Yeah.
companies.
Oh, okay.
Yes?
Madam Chair, talking strictly law, I want to implore the House to pay attention to the observation by the Honorable SSEMUJJU. Because in a broadcasting house, for example, there are workers who go on air to do different lawful assignments, either out of sheer criminality or out of excitement. Somebody makes a statement. That statement should not be visited onto the entire corporation. And yes, and this is how we do it, especially when we are talking about penalties. I think we need to reorganize it in such a way that we capture criminality of particular individuals.
Information.
Honorable Segona,
Yes.
I read it. Hold a shareholder, director, employee, manager, officer, or any other principal officer in the legal entity to be responsible for the actions of a legal person, and therefore liable for the offense committed and punished as provided for in this section, in addition to any penalty stipulated in the relevant provision.
I don't see that one capturing
that is
individual.
in addition to the suspension.
Yes, I don't see that one capturing individual liability. Instead, what I read from that is the corporation shouldering liability of the individuals.
No.
Can I help?
Yes, I would be happy to hear my brother.
Madam Chairperson,
Yes.
an organization commits a crime. Colleagues may listen to me. An organization commits a crime when it is its policy to promote criminality as a policy. Then it is guilty of a criminal act, if it is its policy. However, if you've got individual workers, especially, for example, the media, you have editors, you have reporters, you have anchors, you have presenters, somehow who go and commit this crime, whether on air, you can't now hold the entire organization criminally responsible. You can't do it. However, if it is the policy of this television house called Nandutu TV, Agnes Nandutu, something like that, then you would hold that TV criminally responsible.
AG.
Madam Chair, allow me to say this. While the Honorable Katuntu says we look at what would be the policy of the organization, at no time will you find in the memorandum and articles of association of a broadcaster that they intend to broadcast ABCD. But maybe through regulation, if UCC can find these people culpable for more than once, maybe we can provide, we can have a proviso which says where an organization has been found in a breach
but the
for more than once.
UCC Act has those provisions.
Then if the UCC Act has those provisions, then we leave it to UCC instead of embedding it in here.
Question.
Madam Chair.
Chair. Thank you. Colleagues, I want us to reflect closely on the counsel of Honorable Mulawa Abdu Katuntu. Chair, this provision must be read conjunctively. You don't read it disjunctively, because when you do so, you lose the import. Chair, 3 is about giving courts the latitude You are saying that you, the director, the manager, the employee, you are criminally liable. That is one leg of this argument. The second leg is that now, in the process of investigation and prosecution, we have found that as a policy, whether written or not, advertently or inadvertently, you are promoting homosexuality, then there is no way, as an entity, you are going to go away scot-free. So that is the context, the text and context within which we must look at this proposal. It is not about making an organization unfairly liable. It is about finding an organization in one way or the other, directly or indirectly, promoting, aiding, abetting acts of homosexuality. And I think that is why the provision is not couched in mandatory terms. It's not couched in mandatory terms. So, the provision is giving discretion to the court that at the end of it all, it is saying the court may. And I think it's important for us to put some focus on that aspect. Chair, I want to propose that the issue of the 50,000 currency points and the proposal of the license being cancelled or suspended for 10 years be included, and we proceed.
Clarification, Honorable Basalra.
Madam Chair, my concern is one. You cannot impute culpability on the corporation unless you have perimeters in place. Unless you are able to say it has been done more than once, now we find you guilty. So
that is provided for in the UCC Act.
So what I'm trying to say is that it would be wrong for us to say it is the policy of the company unless we provide that unless that company has been found to have done this more than once, then we can impute that to be the policy of the company.
Madam Chair.
Attorney General, that's
Madam
why you
Chair,
find, Attorney General,
we
that's
are
why you
raising
find
this
all
house
these licenses are provisional.
to a position where even attempt is
UCC
punished.
has powers.
Why are we allowing a company even to do it once? Where I have an issue and a senior will guide is on the liability of a company against versus shareholders. Where do we put the principle of yes? I would be gladly be guided.
Honorable members.
Madam Chair, I concede to the amendment.
Let's concede.
The amendment of Basalira.
Madam Chair, I am very, very much receptive of the proposals of the Honorable Katuntu and the Honorable Asumani Basalirwa. But we are looking at a corporation that does not speak by itself. We are looking at a corporation that employs persons, all of whom are drawn from our own society.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the Honorable.
No, we want to move.
Madam Chair, I concede to the proposal, to the proposed amendment for 50 currency points and the 10 years. 50,000 currency points
and 10
and
years.
10 years.
Madam Chair, I have an amendment.
Yes.
The amendment...
Madam Chair, as the Honorable Cooper takes his seat, I was explaining, and the purpose of explaining was to make Honorable Cooper understand, because I understood it before. One, I want us to be neater so that we would be
Honorable Elijah, please, let's move.
He has understood.
Order.
So you can't say I don't understand.
Honorable.
I withdraw. I now recognize that he understands. Right, Madam Chair, the point we are trying to make, we are all at par, we are in agreement. What we are trying to do here, before even the Attorney General considered, is to make sure that we hold the culpable persons tightly. And the best way of doing it is separating crimes. One, when it comes to individuals, we hold them liable. Now, when it comes to corporations, the learned Attorney General was talking about more than once. No. Actually, what we do, we say repetition. That's number one. Number two, by policy. Now, by policy can be established by way of evidence, as the Honorable Katuntu was saying. Now, especially when we are talking about the worst penalty, the last one, of cancellation. That's why I suggested we separate them. Finally, when it comes to what the Honorable Asumani Basalirwa was saying, perhaps if we want to do it better, we could even allow the enactment of a statutory instrument that enumerates the processes. Finally, Madam Chair, on the question of suspension and cancellation, that's where I wanted to differ a bit from Honorable Saliwa. We provide timelines when it comes to suspension.
Yes, that's what.
But when it comes to cancellation, we cancel forever.
No, he's talking about
If you want to come back, you reapply and you are assessed by the UCC. I thank you.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, as government, we are enjoined to create harmony and to allow Parliament exercise its mandate as a legislature. Today, Parliament has exercised its mandate. It has made a decision for us all as a nation. I want to congratulate Honorable Asumani Basalirwa, the mover of the bill. I want to thank the Right Honorable Speaker for presiding over the August House. I want to thank the Committee of the whole House. I want to thank all of you for the job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Basalirwa.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you, but particularly thank the honourable members of Parliament.
There is a procedural matter from Honorable.
Madam Speaker, the colleagues who are saying, yeah, I have been here. This exercise we went through and we came to the same conclusion. This bill was nullified, so listen to me. Madam Speaker, the procedure issue I am raising, Honorable Fox Odoi rose through the ranks of State House to become a principal private secretary acting at one time. If I am allowed, I will bring evidence here that the person who appointed the Fox Odoi at one time to be acting principal private secretary signed this bill at a press conference was the same person sending Fox to go to court. That's why last time I asked here, was the government supportive? So the procedure issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, is whether the same person who sent Fox Odoi to court will not send Fox Odoi.
There is an order from Honorable Peter.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. First of all, Honourable SSEMUJJU has said he has been here. I also want to confirm I have been here. The time he came is the time I came. is Honorable SSEMUJJU in order to begin insinuating that Honorable Fox Odoi was sent to court as a proxy by head of state of this country? Is he in order?
Honorable members, what is being said is just hearsay.
Clarification.
We cannot confirm whether Honorable, and I think he's in his right mind to go to court himself. No, we are not going to interrogate you. We are not in the court. He's in his right mind. He can go to court on his own. Nobody has to use him.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the late Speaker, Right Honorable Jacob Olanya, would always say, the majority will have their say and the majority will have their way. Today, you permitted me as a minority to have my say. And the majority had their way. That is how democracies work. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable, let's finish.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to once again thank you. And more particularly, I want to thank colleagues, members of Parliament, one, for turning up in large numbers and denying the Honorable Fox Odoi the opportunity to go back to court on account of quorum. I really want to thank you so much for the patience. I want to thank you so much for the commitment. I want to thank you so much for putting this country and our voters at the center of this cause. What we have done really is for the people of Uganda. It is beyond us as individuals, but really the people of Uganda. I want to thank my committee. Incidentally, I'm also a member of the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. But I want to thank the committee. Right Honorable Speaker, when I appeared before the committee, I was interrogated. You can imagine appearing before a committee where Foxy is and is asking all sorts of questions. I stood my ground, but I also learned a lot from him. It is where I actually learned that he's a homosexualist, but not a homosexual. So I want to thank the committee for the interaction, the guidance we received. But above all, Right Honorable Speaker, I want in a special way to thank you for the support, for the encouragement. I am aware that the intimidation was not only extended to you, it came to me. But we've been able, and all of us, I am aware, being threatened with the visa restrictions, travel restrictions. These homosexuals have been jamming my phone with the nudity, profanities, and abuses, thinking that we would relent. I know what I have gone through is what all of you have gone through in one way or the other. But we want to thank you. We only have to pray, Right Honorable Speaker, that my colleague in Entebbe takes the signing of this bill as a priority. And the gesture he exhibited last time should be the gesture he should exhibit this time.
Thank you.
So that we don't come back here and we are talking about 60 days overlapsing. I want to thank you.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Abudu. Thank you so much. I know I got you from very far. I now adjourn the House to 2 tomorrow.
So, Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of government, our support is not in doubt. The first support was demonstrated when the Ministry of Finance issued the certificate of financial implication within a record time. Today in this House, the leader of government business, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, was equally present to demonstrate the commitment and the support of government. To those who may not agree with us, we want to submit to you and say, sorry, Uganda is a sovereign state run under its own laws. And we have done our part for God and our country, Uganda. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Abudu. Thank you so much. I know I got you from very far. I now adjourn the House to 2 tomorrow.